So my name's Emil Ross. I'm the winemaker at Hamilton Russell Vineyards, and I've been helping Bereen since 2015 to make Tesselaarsdal wines. So when I started at Hamilton Russell Vineyards at the end of 2014, Bereen was already working here. She was, as she still is now, also doing all our labeling and export logistics and stuff. So she was part of the team when I arrived, and I soon realized that she's quite a force. She doesn't sit still, and she's very driven in what she does. So it was, I guess I had to meet her.
So Tesselaarsdal is a small village nestled in the heart of the Overberg, and it's about 23 kilometers northeast from the Hemel en Aarde. Yes, so I am a Tesselaarsdaler, born and bred. And Tesselaarsdal has got a very unique history, and I love history and I love where I come from, and I love my roots. In the late 1700s, Johannes Tesselaar, he was a captain in the Dutch army, and he got paid for with 2 pieces of property and 8 Khoisan slaves. So when he died in 1810, he left the property to his then freed slaves. So I'm a descendant of those slaves. My mother is the actual Tesselaarsdaler, and my grandma used to farm with goats. My mother told me many stories about how she grew up and how she had to look after the goats, and how they traded and how they walked to Stanford over the mountain. I always say I think I come from a family of beverage making, because my grandma, she used to make a brew that she called skufaan. It was frothy and not smelling very good, and it didn't really have a color. It was pale, but I think it was more closer to beer than anything else. But she made it with like wheat grains and old piece of bread and raisin, like anything that could ferment. And that went into a bucket with a lid on, and that she put under a bed, and that thing stayed there for like 2 weeks or something. But I don't know to what alcohol that would probably have gone, because if she took 2 swigs of it, she was out. I grew up in a beer drinking community, and the only wine they drank there was ontas, and a thing that they called mos. What enticed me was this question that was nagging: why do people pay so much for the wine?
Coming from?
I didn't know. I'm coming from a beer drinking, skufaan drinking, mos drinking background.
Towards the end of 2014, Anthony suggested that we start something for Bereen, and we managed to find a really nice grape source in the Hemel en Aarde ridge. And then from there it just happened quite naturally, I guess. We made the wine in the Hamilton Russell Vineyard cellar as, just as a separate batch, and it was the first time for me in the cellar, my first vintage at Hamilton Russell, so it was quite easy in a way to get additional fruit in and work with that, because everything was new.
That's why I'm so passionate about Tesselaarsdal. I mean, I think Tesselaarsdal also stood out in the first year of release. The wine was good, thank you, Emil.
My dream is for her son to also fall in love with winemaking and then eventually take over. So I would like to have him in the cellar for a couple of years here until the vines are established on Tesselaarsdal, and then he can take over. Then the whole Tesselaarsdal family, everything just makes sense then for me. Yes. So that's the long-term plan. We'll have to see if he wants to. Bereen's strong-willed, she'll force him.
I actually would like to ultimately, in the end, offer an opportunity to someone that was offered to me. Because I was offered a unique opportunity through Anthony Hamilton Russell, and I was taken through a unique experience with Emil Ross. People ask me who I am. I always say I'm the product of Brian and Rhys Souls, who is 2 very ambitious people. And I am crazy about history and crazy about my roots. And South Africa is actually the best winemaking country. There's this hype about France, which I'm sure is valid, and I think France is then probably the best or the leading wine producing country, but then second to that would be South Africa. We've got the climate, we've got the soil, we've got the expression, we've got the talented winemakers, and we've got everything going, fermenting in French barrels. But that's just it. South Africa is the country, man.